Why does the mess keep coming back? You spend Saturday cleaning everything: the floors, the dishes, the laundry, the bathroom. For a few hours, the house finally feels under control. Then Monday arrives. Shoes are by the door, mail is on the counter, cups are in the sink, and somehow the same mess is back. It can feel like housework is a job you can never actually finish. So, what if the problem is not that you are failing to clean hard enough? The Japanese approach offers a different answer. A truly clean home is not created by doing more cleaning. It is created by giving dirt, clutter, and small unfinished tasks fewer chances to spread in the first place. Instead of waiting for a problem to become visible, many Japanese home habits are built around prevention. Stop dirt at the boundary, return objects before they begin to pile up, and deal with a tiny mess while it still takes seconds. That changes the entire rhythm of a home. Cleaning is no longer one exhausting weekend event, followed by several days of decline. It becomes a series of small, almost automatic actions supported by the environment itself. The right behavior is made easier because shoes have a stopping point, belongings have a permanent place, and quick resets happen before clutter becomes overwhelming. In this video, we will explore 9 Japanese cleaning habits that help homes stay calmer, cleaner, and easier to maintain. Most cost little or nothing, and you do not need a traditional Japanese house to use them. You can adapt these ideas to an apartment, a suburban home, or even a single room. Together, the habits follow 3 simple principles. Stop dirt where it enters, give every object a home, and solve small problems before they grow. And the first principle begins before you even step inside your home with the shoes you wear. The first cleaning habit begins before dirt ever reaches the living room. Every time you walk outside, the soles of your shoes pick up soil, sand, mud, dust, and residue from sidewalks, parking lots, public restrooms, stores, and countless other shared surfaces. If those same shoes move through the house, all of that travels with them across the kitchen floor, into the hallway, and sometimes even toward the bedroom. Japanese homes interrupt that journey at the entrance. The genkan is a small transition zone between the outside world and the clean interior. It is where outdoor shoes come off, where they are stored, and where indoor slippers may be put on. This is more than a cultural custom. It is a practical cleaning system built around one simple idea. It is far easier to stop dirt at the door than to remove it from every room later. That single boundary creates several benefits. Floors stay clean longer. Less dust spreads into private spaces. Sweeping and mopping become less frequent, and entering the home feels like a clear shift from public space to personal space. The house does not need more cleaning effort because much of the mess never gets inside. You do not need to renovate your entryway or own a traditional Japanese home to copy the system. Place a washable mat just inside the door. Add a shoe tray to catch dirt and moisture. Keep a pair of indoor slippers nearby, and use a small basket for keys, mail, or items you carry in every day. Limiting the number of shoes left at the entrance also keeps the area from becoming cluttered. In other words, a simple mat, tray, and pair of slippers can create an artificial boundary that performs much of the same function as a genkan. But Japanese homes do not stop at separating outside from inside. Once indoors, they often divide the home into smaller hygiene zones as well. Toilet slippers and the logic of hygiene zones. Toilet slippers may sound excessive until you understand what they are really designed to prevent. In many Japanese homes, a separate pair of slippers is kept just outside the toilet. You step into them before entering, then leave them behind when you come out. The toilet is treated as its own hygiene zone, which means anything that touches that floor should stay there. It should not travel into the living room, across the kitchen, or toward the bedroom. There is even a familiar cultural mistake. A guest forgets to change back and walks out wearing the toilet slippers. It is usually noticed immediately, and it quietly reveals that the visitor is not used to the system. The detail may seem small, but the principle behind it is powerful. Japanese homes often manage cleanliness by creating boundaries between spaces. A kitchen cloth is not used in the bathroom. Toilet brushes and cleaning tools stay near the toilet. Bath mats may be washed separately, and supplies are stored close to the area they are meant to clean. This reduces the chance that one object carries germs, moisture, or dirt from one room into another. The lesson is not that every family must buy toilet slippers. The real lesson is simpler. Do not let one tool or object spread mess from one zone of the home to another. If toilet slippers do not fit your lifestyle, you can still use the same idea. Keep a separate bathroom mat. Assign a dedicated set of cloths to each room. Use different colors so no one mixes them up. Store cleaning tools inside or near the space where they belong. These small boundaries make cleaning easier because they stop problems from moving. But dirt is only part of what makes a home difficult to maintain. In many homes, the bigger problem is clutter objects with nowhere to return. Give every object a home. If your keys keep disappearing, your mail keeps taking over the counter, and phone chargers seem to migrate from room to room, the problem may not be that your family is careless. The problem may be that those objects were never given a permanent place to return to. Japanese homes often follow a simple rule. Everything should have a home. Bags have a hook or shelf. Coats have a designated hanger. Keys have a tray near the entrance. Mail has a box. Chargers stay in one specific spot. Once those decisions are made, putting things away requires almost no thought. You do not have to ask, where should this go? You simply return it to the place already chosen for it. Over time, that small reduction in decision-making makes tidying feel less like a chore and more like an automatic reset. But there is an important detail many organizing systems miss. The best storage location is not always the prettiest one. It is usually the place closest to where the item is used or where your hand naturally sets it down. Keys belong near the door, not in a drawer across the house. Spices belong near the cooking area. Cleaning cloths belong near the sink. A laundry basket works best near the place where clothes come off. Medicine and personal care products should be stored close to where they are actually used. This leads to one of the most useful insights in the entire system. If an item is constantly left in the wrong place, the problem may not be a lack of discipline. Its assigned home may simply be too inconvenient. Try this with 5 objects that regularly go missing or create clutter. Watch where you naturally place them during the day. Then create a simple, permanent home near that spot. Use a tray, hook, basket, or small container. Add a label if several people use the same system. Most importantly, keep it easy. A complicated organizing system often looks impressive for a week, then quietly falls apart. The goal is not to create a picture-perfect home. It is to remove tiny decisions from everyday life. When every object has an obvious place to return to, clutter has fewer opportunities to form. However, even the smartest storage system will eventually fail if the home is holding more things than the space can comfortably support. Stop keeping what you no longer need. Sometimes the hardest part of cleaning is not the dirt, it is everything the dirt has to collect on. Unused gadgets, clothes you never wear, broken items waiting to be repaired, and boxes filled with things you have not touched in years all create what we might call object burden. Japanese homes are often smaller than many American homes, so families become aware of space limits very quickly. They learn that every object has a cost long after the purchase is over. That cost is not only the money you spent. An object takes up space, gathers dust, needs to be organized, may require maintenance, adds another decision, and eventually becomes one more thing you have to clean around. It can also make useful items harder to find and turn simple routines into frustrating searches. The more unnecessary items a home holds, the harder it becomes to keep calm and orderly. A simple way to test uncertain belongings is the 30-day box. Put questionable items inside, write the date on the box, and leave it somewhere out of the way. If you do not reach for an item during the next month, consider donating it, selling it, or letting it go. Of course, this should not be applied blindly to important documents, seasonal gear, or meaningful keepsakes. Before keeping anything, ask 4 questions. Do I actually use this? Would it be easy to replace if I needed it again? Am I keeping it because it is useful or because I feel guilty? And does owning it make my home harder to manage? The goal is not extreme minimalism or an empty house. It is to reduce the number of objects demanding your space, attention, and time, so the things you truly value are easier to use and care for. Once the excess is gone, the next step is stopping tiny chores from building into an exhausting weekend cleanup. The 1-minute rule: stop mess while it is still small. Most clutter does not arrive like a disaster. It arrives quietly: 1 jacket on a chair, 1 cup in the sink, 1 receipt on the counter. Then 1 item becomes 3 become 10, and suddenly the room feels so overwhelming that you do not know where to begin. The 1-minute rule interrupts that chain before it grows. The idea is simple. If a task takes less than a minute, handle it at an appropriate moment. Hang up your coat, put away your shoes, wipe the water around the sink, throw away the receipt, rinse the cup, return the remote to its place. Each action seems almost too small to matter, but together they prevent dozens of unfinished tasks from turning into a stressful cleanup later. The hidden benefit is mental as well as physical. Every unfinished task remains in the background of your attention. A few quick completions reduce visual noise, remove small decisions, and make the room feel calmer before you have done any major cleaning. This does not mean you should stop whatever you are doing every time you notice something out of place. That would make the rule exhausting instead of helpful. The better approach is to use natural transition moments when you walk in the door, finish a meal, leave a room, wait for the coffee to brew, or get ready for bed. These are moments when your attention is already shifting, so a 10-second reset feels easy instead of disruptive. You can make the habit even more automatic by creating reset points around the home. Reset the sink after brushing your teeth. Clear the dining table after dinner. Straighten the couch before bed. Put the entryway back in order when you come home. A reset point gives each space a clear finish line, so small messes do not remain overnight and multiply. The goal is not to keep your home perfect every minute of the day. The goal is to stop a tiny task from becoming the kind of job you keep postponing because it feels too big to start. The first 5 habits mostly improve life inside one household, but the next Japanese system shows how the same prevention mindset can help keep an entire neighborhood clean. Sort trash like a system. Most people think throwing something away is the end of the story. In Japan, it is treated as the final step of ownership. Household waste is often separated into categories such as burnable trash, non-burnable trash, PET bottles, plastic packaging, glass, metal cans, and paper. The exact rules vary by city and neighborhood, so the point is not to memorize one national system. The real lesson is that waste is organized from the moment it is created, instead of being mixed together and sorted later. That simple change produces visible results. Collection areas stay cleaner. Odors are reduced. Recycling becomes easier. And fewer bags need to be reopened because the wrong materials were thrown together. When everyone follows the same structure, even a crowded neighborhood can remain surprisingly orderly. This also changes the way people think about buying things. Disposal is not separate from ownership. When you bring an item home, you are also accepting its packaging, the space it requires, the possibility that it may need repair, and the responsibility of deciding what happens when you no longer use it. You can apply the same principle without copying Japan's rules exactly. Place sorting bins where waste is actually created near the kitchen, desk, or entryway. Do not wait until everything is mixed together. Use simple colors, labels, or icons so every family member knows where each item belongs. Rinse bottles and containers quickly when local recycling rules require it, and keep the number of categories practical for your area. A good system should make the correct action easier, not more confusing. Once disposal has a clear path, trash stops becoming a last-minute mess. Waste is handled through a system. But there is one surface in the home that traditional Japanese cleaning brings you much closer to: the floor beneath your feet. Zokin gake, cleaning the floor and learning responsibility. Most people clean the floor from a comfortable distance. In Japan, one traditional method asks you to get much closer. It is called zokin gake, wiping the floor with a cloth while moving on your hands and knees. The practice is still associated with Japanese schools and some traditional households. At first, it may look old-fashioned, especially in a world of robot vacuums and modern mops. But getting close to the floor reveals something standing upright often hides. From that lower position, you notice dust trapped in corners, faint stains beginning to form, dirt along the baseboards, and debris hiding beneath tables or furniture. A mop can move quickly across an open surface, but a cloth in your hand gives you more control and makes small neglected areas impossible to ignore. In many Japanese schools, students help clean their own classrooms, hallways, and shared spaces. The purpose is not simply to save money on cleaning. It teaches that the environment belongs to everyone who uses it. When students clean the room themselves, they become more aware of the mess they create and more respectful of the work required to maintain a shared space. You do not need to clean your entire home on your hands and knees to benefit from this idea. Once a week, use a cloth for the places modern tools often miss: room corners, baseboards, the area beneath a table, the edges around furniture, or a small stain that needs direct attention. You can still rely on a vacuum or mop for the rest of the floor. The deeper value of zokin gake is not the cloth or the posture. When you lower yourself close to the floor, you see the room from a different perspective. Details that once disappeared into the background become visible. Cleaning begins to feel less like punishment and more like caring for the space that supports your daily life. But the next habit may sound even more extreme: cleaning the toilet before it even looks dirty. Clean the toilet before it looks dirty. Most people wait until the toilet looks dirty before they clean it. By then, stains have had time to settle, moisture has collected around surfaces, and a small task has turned into one of the most unpleasant jobs in the house. Many Japanese households use a different approach. Do not wait for the mess to become obvious. Remove it while it is still small. This does not mean performing a full bathroom deep clean every day. It is simply a quick reset that may take only 30 to 60 seconds. Wipe the seat, clean the handle or control panel, check the area around the base of the toilet, remove any water or visible marks from nearby surfaces, and return the room to an orderly state. When this becomes part of a regular routine, dirt has less time to build up, and the toilet rarely reaches the point where cleaning feels overwhelming. The habit becomes easier when the right supplies are kept nearby. Use a cloth, disposable sheet, or tool that is appropriate for the surface you are cleaning. Keep toilet cleaning materials separate from anything used in the kitchen, bedroom, or other areas of the home. Always follow the directions on cleaning products and wash your hands thoroughly when the reset is complete. The goal is not to make the bathroom perfect at every moment. It is to prevent the space from reaching the stage where cleaning becomes difficult, time-consuming, or unpleasant. A few seconds of attention today can eliminate a much larger chore later. This is the same prevention mindset we have seen throughout the home. Solve the problem before it has a chance to grow. And the final habit requires only one small movement. Yet, it can help manage heat, humidity, and dust at the same time. Close the tub lid and let the system do more. The final habit may be the smallest one in the entire video, but it reveals the biggest lesson. After using the bathtub, many Japanese families simply close the lid. That one movement helps hold heat inside the water, slows evaporation, reduces excess humidity in the bathroom, and keeps dust or small debris from falling in. It becomes especially useful when several family members bathe at different times and the water needs to remain warm for the next person. On its own, closing a lid does not look impressive. But it is what we might call a high-leverage habit, one small action that creates several benefits at the same time. The best household systems often work this way. Hanging a towel immediately helps it dry and prevents odors. Leaving outdoor shoes at the entrance protects every floor beyond the doorway. Wiping water around the sink takes seconds but prevents stains, buildup, and a larger cleaning job later. None of these actions requires more motivation. They simply make the home easier to maintain by preventing several future problems at once. Although the 9 habits in this video may seem different, they all follow 3 basic rules. First, stop problems at the boundary. Do not allow outdoor dirt, bathroom contamination, or waste to move freely through the home. Second, create clear places and processes. Belongings, cleaning tools, and trash should always have an obvious destination. Third, solve small problems before they grow. 1 minute today can prevent an hour of cleaning this weekend. You do not need to adopt all 9 habits at once. In fact, trying to change everything overnight usually makes a system harder to maintain. Instead, choose one habit and practice it for 7 days. Notice whether your floors stay cleaner, your rooms feel calmer, or your daily reset becomes easier. The goal is not to create a perfect home. It is to build a home that quietly helps you take care of it. Which habit will you try first? Leave the number in the comments and see what changes after 1 week.